us, Voice of the People Television, saying Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year to you all. See you at the top.
Welcome on board. Yes, sir. And it's a wonderful Boxing Day where you have to start unboxing all of the gifts you actually received yesterday. And what a way to actually, celebrate the Christmas. The utility season has actually been, wonderful all through the day before yesterday, 24th, to yesterday, and of course, today I've been seeing, chicken, turkeys, cow meat, ram, goat, flying everywhere, different kinds of rice and all of that. And this is to actually show that we've been enjoying ourselves. And to some that have not been able to, or that were unable to actually enjoy themselves, I would just have to encourage you to tell you that everything will be fine and all will be well. And of course, I would have to also talk about those people who actually wished they celebrated the festive season with their loved ones, but unfortunately their loved one is in the hospital. All I would say from here is I'm sending you prayers to your loved ones that all will be well and get well, soon, so that you can actually, go back and be with your loved one. All right, welcome on board. It is the Boxing Day edition of People's Voice on VOP TV, where season stories shape the narrative. And today we'll be dissecting a major story that is dominating the headline and sparking conversation. Something really, serious happened yesterday, day before yesterday, and of course yesterday, and it's been buzzing everywhere, in the nation. U.S. airstrike in Nigeria, first step to ending killings, says U.S. lawmaker. This is quite a very serious one because we have, different people talking about this particular conversation. Some, so many are, in support of that particular airstrike. But, of course, we have some people also, going against it, saying that we're a sovereign nation and we shouldn't have that, such a strike on our land. But, of course, we'll be dissecting this conversation today, as we actually take the ride together. Join the conversation with experts inside the citizen perspective. Share your thoughts with us. I am Savio Udo. Let's look into other news stories with details. NDLEA urges Nigerians to stay drug-free during Christmas. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has called on Nigerians to prioritize their health and safety during the Christmas season by making responsible drug-free choices. In a statement, of course, the NDLEA chairman mentioned that importance of public vigilance and personal responsibility in reducing drug-related harm and promoting community well-being is all they actually want. And this is actually coming from Brigadier General Buba Mawa. And away from that particular one, Kwankwaso unveils over 300 PhD holders in Kano. Former governor of Kano State and leader of the Kwankwasia movement, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, has revealed that his scholarship program has produced over 300 PhD holders. The scholars were beneficiaries of the Kwankwasia scholarship scheme, which has been running for nearly 25 years. Kwankwaso disclosed that he personally sustained the program through the Kwankwasia Development Foundation after government sponsorship was discontinued in 2019. He sold his properties in various states to fund the education of 370 young men and women from Kano State abroad. This is quite a laudable one, and sincerely, I must say that we need people like this, and we need more of this, to actually happen. And away from that particular one, Emir of Kano praises Abia State Governor Alex Oti's achievement. Muhammad Sanusi II, the Emir of Kano, has commended Abia State Governor Alex Oti's administration for its transformative work in the state. Speaking at the 2025 Attorney Day celebration in Arochukwu local government area, Sanusi praises Oti's achievements, noting that they have garnered attention both within and outside Nigeria. Sanusi, who has a decades-long friendship with Governor Alex Oti, expressed pride in serving on Oti's International Economic Advisory Council. He urged Nigerians to continue building bridges across the country, promoting unity and cooperation among citizens. And away from that particular one, let's go back to the PDP's quarter now. PDP slams the government, PDP slams government over Maiduguri mosque blast. People's Democratic Party has strongly condemned the Christmas Eve explosion at a mosque in Maiduguri, Borno State, describing it as a grim reminder of Nigerians' worsening security situation and a failure of governments to protect lives and property. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Comrade Ini Memobong, stated that the attack underscored the government's failure to meet its basic obligation to citizens, prioritizing rhetoric over decisive action. The PDP expressed sympathy with families affected by the attack, stressing that targeting a place of worship carries serious moral and social implications for the country. Imamobong warned that continued attacks on places of worship could erode constitutional freedom and deepen fear across religious communities. Away from that particular one, Nigerian problem lies with leadership, not the people, says the African Democratic Party. The African Democratic Congress attributed this particular one, Nigerians' worsening situation, of course, hardship and insecurity, to leadership failure rather than a lack of resilience among its citizens. In a Christmas message, the party's National Publicity Secretary, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, urged Nigerians to hold on to hope, compassion despite the challenging circumstances. Abdullahi emphasized that the Nigerians' true strength lies in its people who are resilient, compassionate, and committed to one another across faith and communities. The party called for prayers for victims of violence, particularly those affected by the Christmas Eve bombing at a mosque in Borno State, and appreciated essential service provided by some security personnel and, of course, our health workers who worked during the holiday. And, of course, talking about the conversation of today, FG confirms US strike on terrorist targets in Nigeria. The Nigerian government has confirmed that the country remains engaged in structured security cooperation with international partners, including the United States, to address terrorism and violent extremism. This confirmation follows a recent airstrike on terrorist targets in the Northwest. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated that the cooperation has led to precision hits on terrorist targets in Nigeria, with the aim of weakening terrorist network, disrupting their funding and logistics, and of course, preventing cross-border threats. The government emphasized that protecting civilians remains central to all counterterrorism efforts. To join the conversation, kindly call the number 09044732605, 09044732605. Follow us on social media at VOBTV Live. You can use the hashtag People's Voice on VOBTV, and of course on YouTube with Voice of the People TV. Kindly hit the subscribe button, and together we can make our voices heard. It is time for us to go on a quick break. As soon as we return, we'll be dissecting this conversation this wonderful afternoon. U.S. airstrikes in Nigeria, first step to ending killings, U.S. lawmaker says. All right, don't go to a certain place to be right back.
been with us through the ups and downs or just joined us for this festive season,
take a moment to cherish the moments you've made and look forward to making new ones on the horizon.
May this new year bring you everything good, everything prosperous.
As we bid farewell to the old year and welcome you to the new year,
May your heart be filled with joy and your home with laughter. And of course, may your spirit be filled with hope.
We'll be bringing you live updates, exciting performance, and inspiring stories throughout the day.
stay tuned for our special New Year's coverage and let's make this year unforgettable.
thank you for making us a part of your celebration.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And welcome back to the program. It is Still People's Voice on VOP TV. The U.S. Congressman, Raleigh Moore, has described recent U.S. military airstrike in Nigeria as the first step in ending the killings of Christians and tackling the country's security crisis. The airstrike carried out in coordination with the Nigerian government targeted ISIS elements operating in northwest Nigeria. U.S. President Donald Trump authorized the strikes, saying the U.S. would not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper. The Nigerian government has confirmed that the airstrikes, stating that they are part of ongoing international cooperation to combat terrorism and violent extremism. All right, we're now being joined by Mr. Obong Thompson, a journalist and, of course, a political analyst. Welcome on board, sir.
Thank you very much, Savio.
So I think it is safe to say Salaam Alaikum.
Very well said. May the peace be with you too.
Or let me go back to the north to say Nauni Baba. Sonu Yayaiki. And you tell me Lafia Kalau.
Very well said.
Okay, so it's quite a very serious conversation here because I understand what it feels like, being a sovereign nation and having, other government from other climes coming into the nation to, release these offensive strikes. But of course, you'd agree with me that this particular one, did not just happen as regards to the U.S. having, fighting war with Nigeria. No, but all they're actually doing is trying to support Nigerians to end the security crisis. Okay, and coming, at the ISIS, the ISWAP, the Boko Haram, the bandit, whatsoever they are, So what would you say as regards to the strike? And I don't know if you actually saw it. Yes, that's the video, on the screen when this particular airstrikes were released, and the U.S. does not joke when it comes to things like this. I remember some, weeks ago, we talked about all of this particular one, and some were even saying that, Trump was not going to do anything about it. He was not going to. They were going to just look for how to, negotiate with Nigerian government or just support them from afar. But nobody actually saw it that the U.S. government were going to, take this strike up. We were thinking maybe they would just keep supporting Nigerians, by giving ammunition or allowing our Nigerian Air Force to, take all of these strikes. But for them to actually come into our soil and do this particular one, are you indifferent? Are you in support of this particular one? Are you, when you saw, the news, when you saw this video, what were your thoughts? How would you actually respond to this?
Well, it might not have come as a surprise because few days back, we have, some information flying online that the Nigerian government, alongside with the U.S., are carrying out some surveillance, activities across the northern region of Nigeria, trying to spot out all the terrorist enclaves around the northern part of Nigeria. So this strike does not come to me as a surprise because, the U.S. understand the implication of this terrorist attack on Nigeria in the suffering continent like Africa. Nigeria is supposed to play a very critical economic and, economic-wise and military-wise in the continent of Africa. And now the same country is being ravaged by terrorist attack for so long, and nothing has been done about it. So the U.S. that plans ahead of its time as seeing the danger that this portends for the country called Nigeria and Africa as a whole. They understand if anything happens to Nigeria, definitely it will be a very, very devastating, situation for African country and the West Africa as we speak. So the airstrike, Nigerian government has claimed knowledge, having been put into knowledge of, the airstrike with the U.S. government, whether they were informed or not. That's not a case that we should be talking about now. The most important thing is, has this airstrike been effective? Have they actually hit the enemy's target? Have they been able to, dislodge these terrorists or send a major signal to the terrorists that there is no hiding place for them? Because for once, I'll be glad to see Nigeria living in peace, with these various state and local government and, villages at peace and being ripped up of all these terrorists, either ISIS, Boko Haram, or ISWAP. So it's a very, very welcome development. It comes to many with the mixed feelings, but, we don't need to wait to be killed. It's better the U.S. intervene rather than ISIS keep killing Nigerians, killing our people, truncating our nascent democracy, taking away the fundamental right of people to move from various places, carrying out their businesses. So it's better the airstrike by the U.S., hit those terrorists that have caused several problems in Nigeria. As we speak, if Nigerian government is to come up with the data of, the losses incurred by this terrorist attack, I think it will be in the amount of trillions, both human losses, monetary, and otherwise. We are unable to, progress as a nation as we are supposed to progress because of the much is voted into the budget for, fighting terrorism. And this money would have gone into areas of education, health, and other activities. But here we vote so much money, trillions of dollars. And at the end of the day, we don't even get to see the impact of these trillions of dollars voted to fight terrorism in Nigeria. So the U.S. government have done the right thing, and right thing in Nigeria should rather ask the question, what lesson does Nigeria, what are we learning as a people? What do we learn from this airstrike? Are we to wait next time for another country to come and strike, our common enemy, or we should always be proactive in our activities, in our actions, and make sure that we nip the whatsoever issues, challenges we face on the board before a stitching time serve 9. If this has been taken out, these terrorists have been taken out by the Nigerian government on time, there wouldn't have been any need for foreign intervention.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Obong Thompson, for that wonderful opening. Of course, I would like to also bring in from Canada, Nwoye Chijioke, who's also a distinguished business magnate and astute political and social analyst. Good morning, Chijioke. Hello, Chijioke, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear?
Loud and clear. Good morning to you.
Yeah. Good morning, Xavier. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. Compliment of the season. Now it's Canada.
Yeah, it's as good as it should be.
All right, so Chijioke, you heard what your neighbor actually, did in Nigeria,
Yeah.
talking about the United States of America. Of course, the U.S. and Canada share a border. So I'd like to know, so many people have been talking about these strikes as regards to some saying that they're in support of it and they are happy that this particular one actually happened. Meanwhile, some are saying that it shows the inefficiency of this administration, or the government has actually failed, the nation by the government not being able to protect its people enough that the U.S. had to come. That this is the first time in the history of Nigeria that the U.S. would be helping, the Nigerian government, to strike terrorists, of course. And some people were actually saying that Nigeria is a sovereign nation, so why should the government approve such strike in the land? What is your take as regards to this? When you saw this in the news, what were your thoughts as regards to the airstrike?
Well, when the news came out, it was actually evening here, so you guys were sleeping, so we were all awake, partying and enjoying our Christmas. And then I saw the news, and I was like, "What? It doesn't make sense. Why doesn't it make sense?" First of all, we know we are in war with these terrorist people. We know that they are cleaners. We know the damages that they are doing to us. But it doesn't make sense for another country to bomb your country in the name of attacking terrorists. You need to understand, like, we are a sovereign nation and we are not in a war with another country. So I don't think that we have gotten to a situation whereby another country needs to come and bomb our country, whether you like it or not. This was a direct attack on our nation because we were not warned. And in that state that this attack happened, people were living there. They were traumatized.
Hello, Chijioke, are you there? Okay, I think we're having a network glitch there. Let me come back to the studio. Hello, Mr. Obong. Okay, so I love the fact that we're also getting the same, reaction here on air, as you don't have issues with that particular strike. Of course, Chijioke is having issues with that strike. Some people actually said, that the strike affected some areas, in some places. Some even mentioned, aside from Sokoto community, some talked about Kwara State. Meanwhile, some actually said it didn't affect anybody, that they actually got the right intelligence and they struck the right places. But some also still mentioned that this strike did not even, get to the terrorists, that it was just wrong places. So I don't know what we need to believe right now. But of course, what would you say as regards to this? Chijioke here is saying that the people who lived in the Sokoto community will be traumatized, or they are traumatized presently because you struck their area without their consent and all of that. And I think a particular political party and some chieftains in the nation actually said that they were meant to, Nigerian government were meant to have announced that before striking. And my question, if they announce such, is it even right? When we talk about intelligence, is it even right that you want to announce, such information before striking? Won't these people leave wherever you want to announce, wherever you want to strike? And that, would actually now make me to ask you that can the airstrike alone effectively combat terrorism in Nigeria, or are ground troops needed to achieve long-term stability?
Well, to answer your first question, the government of Nigeria, as a matter of fact, may not have the required intelligence to actually get to know areas that this airstrike will be carried out, as such, might not correctly have to inform the residents of this area, because we are talking about war strategy. And in war strategy, you don't need to allow your enemy to get to know your next step. So I think people calling for the fact that Nigerian government would have passed an information across to them, I think we are getting so messy about the serious and important issues as regard this fight against terrorism. So I don't expect anybody to have waited to hear from Nigerian government before, they identify terrorists and, get to, distance themselves away from terrorism. Because you see, one of the problems that Nigeria is facing is because communities keep condoning these terrorists and terrorism activities, housing them, keeping their armory, and so on and so forth. So this has become a very, very difficult fight for Nigerian military to execute, because these people, they live among the people as well. So they help these terrorists to navigate their way and escape whenever there's any attack by the Nigerian military. So I do not expect in any way the Nigerian government or the American government to get to inform the residents of or communities of affected by this airstrike. So even when many might have adjudged it to be ineffective, but you understand that U.S. do not joke with their intelligence. They have gathered enough intelligence, and before you see them striking, they are striking on their target, and they have reasons for striking. So we cannot, on our own, mere men cannot adjudge the airstrike to be ineffective in any way. So I believe the government has to cooperate at this point in time, and then the communities too have to cooperate. If you know there are some terrorists come in your area, do it well to report to the Nigerian government and evacuate the innocent people away from such territories so that the fight can be successful against the terrorists. So the other question you asked about the...
Yeah, so I was asking, I said that, is this airstrike, enough as regards to, combating this whole terrorism situation, or do we still need like foot soldiers, to also be accompanied or to, do their bid? Because we don't know if after the airstrike thing, all of this particular thing will die down, or we still need the foot soldiers. And now our Nigerian foot soldiers have been doing their job. Do we need them, the US also, to send their foot soldiers to actually have like a JTF, a Joint Task Force, having their Marines to come into our land to also assist as regards to foot troops? So I just want to confirm that.
Well, these are war strategies, and the best executionists are the U.S. government and the Nigerian government. So on the approach they have to, apply, it depends on the cases, they found themselves. If only the airstrike will not do the job, then they will find a way to, have a ground, marine to go into all those communities to actually finish up the job. But it all depends on what their targets are. So if their target is to, completely, like I said, most of these terrorists have a hideout among the people. And you find it very difficult to separate who is a terrorist and who is a member of the community. So it has been the major challenges that Nigerian military has been facing. And the issue of sabotage, should you want to send in the foot soldiers, we have had cases in the past where such approach have been used, but there has always been sabotage and compromise from, this loyal member of the military in Nigeria. Probably before they get there, they'll pass an information to the terrorists, to evacuate. So this has been the issue bothering the Nigerian state, and if there can be some form of, sincerity in the side of the army officers fighting this war, I think we will better, have a good time to flush out these terrorists. But the fact remains that as long as these affected communities keep taking the fight against terrorists as a fight against them, it becomes a problem. We have heard so many of like Sheikh Gumi still maintaining a stand that Nigerian government should have allowed the US government to carry out a strike, that the terrorists are their own people. So these are the mentality that keeps on, discouraging the smooth fight against terrorists in the northern part of Nigeria.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Obong Thompson, for that wonderful submission again. I think we have Chijoke back now. Hello, Chijoke, are you there? Hello, Chijoke, are you there? Please unmute yourself.
Can you hear me? I've unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you loud and clear. All right, so Chijoke, you were trying to give your submission as regards to the strike. You said you're not in support of the U.S. airstrikes. So what would you have, wanted the Nigerian government to do? Don't forget that some months ago we talked about how the Nigerian army, actually lamented as regards to having to work with the so-called repented, bandits and terrorists in the nation. They said after they've repented, they get to reintegrate them again into the system. And now they ask them to join the military. And that's the reason why before they get to a particular point, the terrorists, the people that they're looking for are gone, and they keep attacking them. So they actually raised the concern. The infantry actually raised the concern that they don't feel safe as regards to, all of this particular movement, both from their superiors or the government and all of that, reintegrating these repented bandits into their midst. But you said today that you are not okay with it. You said that the strike was not meant to be. And don't forget that before any intelligence goes out to say that they are going to strike a particular place, it is all gone. We have how many military men who have been killed now, even to the one that actually called to say that he escaped somewhere. And immediately he finished that call, they were able to trace him, and he told his own people, they were able to trace him and kill him. We have different issues going on in the nation. And it's really looking like if Nigerian government alone and the military in Nigeria wants to just, give themselves the intelligence and from the NSA and to, take up this particular situation, it is always, mission aborted, okay? Or the whole effort is always wasted. So that's the reason why the Nigerian government decided to, partner, collaborate with the United States of America. But if you're actually saying that this is totally wrong, or you don't like the fact that the US actually, struck, some of these places. So I would like you to actually, give us more thoughts and, of course, elaborate on the reasons and your concerns and the reason why you feel it is wrong for the US to actually assist Nigeria.
For that wonderful question, and I like the way you put the question. But first of all, I need you to understand that this is not, whatever I'm going to say today is based on my opinion. Okay. And this, my opinion, are based on my observation on what is happening in the terms of the Nigerian government and the United States government. Now, I'm not in support of this airstrike because Nigerians have not gotten to that stage. We have not gotten to that stage whereby a foreign country will just have to come and drop bomb in our nation. That is not acceptable. And we have not gotten to that stage, one. And then two, you need to understand that these politicians, they are smart. They are not there because they just wake up or become politicians. No. For a very long time, we have been on this tension. Oh, that we need the United States to come and fight these terrorists for us. United States to come and fight these terrorists for us. I am saying this in this perspective that this is just a setup for the United States, the Nigerian government be like, okay, United States, come and then prove yourself. Come and do that thing that you can do. Let the people see that we are actually trying our best. We couldn't do it. Then you come and do. If you notice the attack, it happened. No target was hit successfully. No terrorist was killed. But it was just like nothing happened. Now this will tell you, it's like because of course the United States they're not weak when it comes to intelligence. And I also read the news where the foreign minister said that they communicated with the United States 2 times before the attack and 5 minutes before the attack, which means that there have been a constant communication between the United States government and the US government. So tell me, the United States government and the Nigerian government. So and that period of time is enough. If we have saboteurs in the government to leak this information, they can. And don't forget, allegedly, I also, before this thing happens and before this news, I also heard that on the 24th of December, some people who are living around Sokoto actually saw these terrorists leaving that same spot. Because just like we said, these terrorists, they are not hiding, they live within. On the 24th, some people are saying that they saw them leaving the checkpoints where we have security agencies. And after 24th, after all these things, and then it happened. So what tells you that? At some point, I was thinking that it is our military. But no, because our military are not just complaining about saboteurs, they are also to fight these terrorists. So many things that is happening that, US cannot just make mistake and like this, their intelligence is so superior to just waste their weapon, their money, and just like that. No, this to tell you that the insecurity we are fighting in Nigeria is within the government. Because now, what are we saying? What are we going to say? The US this is a failure on their own side. So what are we going to say? That actually that the US that we are hoping on to come and save us cannot do the job done. So which means that the government are trying to make it look like it is superior. No. And don't forget that even this attack that the US government made, our Air Force, we have the weapons, we have the things to actually make this attack without even needing the US. Because check the result of the attack. Our own military can do this attack. So why didn't we do it? Why did the US have to come and fell like that? Which means that it was a coordinated, and let me not just say it like as a fact, but that is how I see it. So I don't know if you're getting my point.
Okay.
No, let me. I just wanted to make sure if we are still there because the last time I thought and I felt like.
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So as you see all these things, and it makes you ask the big question: what actually happened yesterday? What actually happened yesterday? Because this is not a mistake. It cannot be a mistake. And people are trying to say it's a message. Message to who? We have been suffering from these killings and this attack, and I don't think we are on the stage of sending a message. This is a clear, direct attack on these terrorist people, but it failed. Why? Who is to be blamed? So the government will want you to blame it on the US that they failed. But the question is, have the US failed like this? Even the war with the Israel and Iran, the attack that the B-12, the attack it made on the Iran nuclear site. Although the attack wasn't severe at the Iran said, but they made some damages. This is how superior the intelligence is. So what happened yesterday? Who is really feeding these people this information? Who are these terrorists working for? What is happening in our country? Does the government really want to fight these terrorists? Or are they playing politics with us? Because that is what it looks like. Who are you going to blame now? These people, we are there. Information notified the US government and even the Nigerian government that these people, we are there. But on the at this point, I expect people to, like some TV stations, to start going to these locations and start asking people questions. What is happening? People like I am in Canada. When these kind of things happens, you see investigators, you see journalists moving around asking people, what happened? What did you notice before this attack? But nothing is happening. Are we that dumb? Are we not seeing clearly? So the Nigerian government really needs to tell us, because there is, even the Donald Trump, the president of US, was so sure of the attack that he had to make the comment on it by himself first, because he was the first person that made the tweet before everybody saw it. He was so sure. But what he wasn't sure about was how these people left that location before that attack. So what is happening? And over the years, the military has been complaining of lack of weapon, and the government has not in any way thought about providing or solving that issues. That put another question: does the government really wants to? Because there is no how you will tell me that the US just came down to throw this bomb free. No, there was some kind of arrangement. There was some kind of agreement between the Nigerian government and the US government. Why couldn't they make that arrangement in such a way whereby it will help our equip them in such a way that they can fight? Because our military has never said that they could not. You see the videos every time that you see the videos of this military attacking. You see that the weapons that these terrorists use are always bigger than them, and they are than our own. So why won't our government use this opportunity to negotiate a better deal that will equip our military? Let's fight this thing once and for all. Instead of, we don't need them to come and throw this bomb. Doing this thing is we are equipping the egos of America, telling America is using this opportunity to tell the world that they are still in charge, using us as a scapegoat, using us to put fears in other nations, in other African nations. Now, because if America can drop bomb in Nigeria successfully like this, how sure are you that they cannot do it in Mali, in Niger, in Burkina Faso, and other countries? So America is using us as a scapegoat to tell other nations that this is how capable that we are. But we don't need to go through that area. We could have made a better deal on how to equip our military. But no, we did not do that. Rather, we negotiated another deal that will benefit the interests, the ideas, and the ideas this government is trying to push. It was never about fighting these terrorists. Doing a wonderful job. This proves that our military has been doing a wonderful job. Because if the US could fail like this and our military has been trying to succeed, this tells you that it is not, the problem is not with the military, it is the government. They know themselves.
Okay, so Chijioke, what you are saying now is that for all of the strikes that actually happened, none of them hits the targets. Is that what you're saying? None of them.
Have you not seen it? See, when the US hits a target, they show you evidence. You see the evidence. You see people. We should be with how powerful this thing is. With the message that the US president posted on Twitter, we should be seeing corpses of terrorists lying around the place of this attack.
This is airstrike, Chijioke, and
it is airstrike. But the intelligence showed that there were terrorists there before this airstrike happened. What was the damage? Okay, tell me what damage so far have you heard that this airstrike made?
All right.
There was no significant damage.
Thank you so much, Chijioke, for that wonderful submission. Thank you. Chijioke is quite is blowing out on Boxing Day. Chijioke.
Oh no, I need people to not to when things happens. When this happens, I just want us to think with our own brain from our own perspective.
Chijioke, thank you very much for that particular one. All right, quickly, I'm going to just read this. Sheikh Gumi says that Nigeria should halt all military cooperation with the US. Okay, so he mentioned that particular one. And of course, he also still said that all US airstrike risks turning Nigeria into theater of war. We don't actually know what he's saying there. Maybe he's saying that it would offend, the terrorists in Nigeria to now, amplify whatsoever they've been doing before now. I don't know why Sheikh will be saying this, but let me also still mention that Peter Exet, he said on X that the president was clear last month, the killing of innocent Christians in Nigeria and elsewhere must end. This is always ready. Okay, the Department of War is always ready. So ISIS found out tonight on Christmas. More to come. He used that statement, more to come. We don't actually know when next the United States of America will be striking again. But away from that particular one, just to buttress what Chijioke has said, someone called Saki, of course he's a northerner, on X also said that the US is a clown. An airstrike drop in an empty part of a village that neither targeted nor killed a single terrorist is what you are celebrating as victory. You know, so we don't actually know what that particular one means as well. But Mr. Obong Thompson, I would like to come to you so we can wrap up the conversation now. First, Chijioke talked about US, you know, doing all of this just to, you know, add up to their feathers and to make, of course, to make other countries, you know, feel that they are still in charge, you know, and feel that they are still the world power and they can actually come into any country at all. You know, so what potential implication might the airstrike have for the U.S. relations with other countries in the region, of course, and globally? You know, and do you also think, do you share the same ideology, you know, that the airstrike actually landed on empty lands and, of course, the intelligence was sabotaged? I'd like you to take that, please.
Well, I think that's a wrong narrative by certain, you know, opinionists on this matter, you know, trying to water down the airstrike by the U.S. on the terrorists, you know, because we are not talking about Nigerian government or Nigerian military. These are military, you know, country that has very good intelligence gathering, and they work based on intelligence. They are not ready to, you know, waste their military equipment for nothing. So I believe before any airstrike is being carried out, there has to be, you know, monitoring. A drone has to be constantly monitoring the targeted area, you know, to give signals, you know, before the airstrike is being carried out. So it will be very, very impossible to, you know, play with those kind of sophisticated weapons, you know, used by this military, U.S. military. So I quite disagree, you know, with such narratives. So as regards the relationship the airstrike will have, you know, Nigeria sometimes ago intervened in Liberia, South Sudan, and I think one other country, you know. And that wasn't to show that Nigeria has, they have muscle, they're reflexing muscle because they have the military might. No, they were there to, you know, keep peace, you know, to make peace and make sure the West African states remain at peace, you know, with one another. So it wasn't to flex muscle. So the U.S. intervention in Nigeria, in whatsoever many people's opinion might be, is not to flex muscle as the war policing power, no. But they understand the aftermath of war in various countries, and Nigeria is a critical stakeholder in Africa and West Africa as a whole. So for anything to cause chaos or disintegration or war in Nigeria, you know, it would really affect the African continent and majorly the West African, you know, nations. So it's better to intervene at this particular point in time so that there can be peace across African country. So this is not in any way, in the other way around, it might send signals as well to other terrorist groups, you know, in Africa that they have no hiding place, you know, because they might feel they can do anything they want to do with the African nations, African territory. But they should understand that the global war will not stand by and watch them, you know, killing innocent Nigerians or innocent Africans.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Obong Thompson, for that particular final thought. This is how far we can actually go. We're pressed for time, and that's why we cannot take, more submissions at this time. If you love the world of sport, I'd like you to stay put to enjoy Locker Room. Of course, coming up next is Locker Room with the sports guys. African Cup of Nations is still on the way, and of course, the match is still on. So I'd also want you to, keep up with them so they can actually give you, good stories and news as regards to the world of sport. Thank you so much, Chijoke, for being part of the show all the way from Canada, and Mr. Wong Thompson, thank you. This is how far we can actually go on the program this wonderful evening. Don't give up because it is not over. Tough time doesn't last, but tough will last. Whatsoever your face will soon be over, and you will definitely smile again. My name remains Saviour Udo. Have a good evening rest.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I. From social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
We're here with the leadership of VOP Television Lagos. We do appreciate this opportunity to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to our viewers all over the world and admirers. Cheers.